Millions of young people log onto social networking sites on a daily basis, and it's changing the way that we make friends and communicate.
Without these social networking sites, we probably wouldn't know each other at all.
Yeah.
That would be really sad.
Before, to see a band, you'd have to go to the gig, you'd have to buy your way in, but now you can just sort of search them on MySpace.
Same with YouTube as well.
Same with YouTube, same with Facebook.
These sites are now so big a part of young people's lives that some adults are calling for them to be used in the classroom.
The schools have got to wake up and smell the coffee, really, and that means that we've got to think of meaningful tasks that children can do.
But there can also be downsides to this new method of communicating.
The front page was a photo of her. In the background was a gun, a picture, a word bang bang, and the words Packy.
But for better or worse, it seems that they're here to stay.
I use MySpace and Facebook literally every day.
Got my TV on there, you got my computer there, MySpace or MSN as well, just chatting to different people.
I would be probably on it now if I wasn't here.
First, we'll look at what these networking sites are all about, and then how they can be used in the classroom.
If you click on Flickr, it's going to take us to the search page.
Even though in many cases these social network sites are now part of young people's everyday lives, the older generation is frequently oblivious.
Do either of you use social networking sites? Yeah, I do.
I don't.
Can you tell me what a social networking site is?
No, I'm afraid I can't. Can you?
No, I don't.
No. I do play on my internet, but I haven't come across any of those.
I think social networking was really targeted toward the younger demographics, and in fact, if you take a look at the 15 to 24, something like 90% of the people in that demographic age group who are online have visited a social networking site in the last month.
15-year-old Will and 17-year-olds Joe, Ian and Jamie set up their band The Minpins a year ago.
I got on MySpace.
We used it on like a friendship level, and then that's how we knew about it. And then once we started the band, and that's why we used the MySpace, just to develop the band and stuff. So
yeah, because everyone was doing it at the time, so it seemed like a good idea to.
Yeah, and because there was so much pressure, like surrounding the Arctic Monkeys and Lily Allen and artists like that, we thought,
and obviously the whole thing with MySpace taking off with bands and things.
Yeah. Before, to see a band, you'd have to go to the gig, you'd have to buy your way in, but now you can just sort of search them on MySpace.
Same with YouTube as well.
Same with YouTube, same with Facebook.
It's made everything so much smaller because we've got like people in like America, just random people who search like
music.
Yeah.
Jamie is 15 years old and spends a lot of time on social networking sites. He chats to his friends on MSN and has met a lot of new people that are into MCing through websites like MySpace.
James, come on, it's time to come off the computer. Come on, please. Now, please.
Bobby, 2 minutes, Mum, 2.
I'm going to give you 3 seconds to get off that computer, okay? Since Jamie's been on these sites, it's been really difficult, like, grounding him. It's like sometimes I'd say to him, right, you're not allowed to go out, you're not allowed to have any friends in. And I know that he's on the computer talking to his friends. He's made loads of friends on this site. He has them come from a different part of London to rap with him. One day I came home, I opened the door, looked in my front room, and there were 15 boys MCing in my front room. One of the reasons that I have the computer in my front room is so I can keep an eye on it. With my other daughter, when we first got internet, it was a case where it was in her bedroom, and, you know, I was so unaware of what she was doing or who she was talking to. So now everything's in the open, in a big front room, so everyone can see, which I think is a good guide for parents anyway.
Mum, can I go to the studio, please?
Yeah, have you got your phone on you?
Got it in my pocket.
Okay. And who are you meeting?
I'm going to meet my friend Charlie, Jake and Vanessa.
Okay, well, make sure you're back at 7. Okay, see you later. 7 o'clock. See you later.
Get the consistent flows, not make my buds flame for flop. No one to blame but myself, but making P, yeah, that's my #1 aim.
Despite some concern over these sites, they are encouraging creativity in today's youth. But for others, it can simply be a way of boosting confidence in what can be awkward teenage years. Shanika, Charlotte, and Alice met on the blogging site LiveJournal. Finding they had similar taste in music, they kept in touch, even though they lived hours away from each other.
Get that.
We met like 2005 through like communities for Kaiser Chiefs, and we became really close friends with them. Now,
And now we're quite tight as well.
Yeah, like this. And because I have trouble socialising like face to face, it sort of helped me boost my confidence and
The internet.
Yeah.
People struggle then to represent themselves, and they found ways of representing themselves through an online identity, through their blog, through their podcast, through their collections of photographs, through their peers and friendship groups.
It's really weird how it happened, but we're all really good friends now.
Yeah.
Without these social networking sites, we probably wouldn't know each other at all.
Yeah.
It would be really sad.
I would probably still be a complete loner.
Geographical proximity doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter where you are or who you're next to. What it matters is who you're connected to. And that's how we build communities, absolutely.
Through social networking sites, people can come together over any interest, as shown by the success of flash mobbing, where hundreds of people gather in public places to simultaneously dance, sing, or just have a laugh.
We went to the Tate Modern the other week. We all put our headphones in and started dancing around, and everyone was like, "Why are they dancing?" And it was really cool. It's fun. You get to shock people. Absolutely amazing. Wasn't it a good experience?
Hell yeah.
It's insane. It's insane.
If you're not actually part of the flash mob, you don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, 100 people suddenly start behaving in a way that you didn't expect. And again, that illustrates the power of the internet to allow people to do things that they previously wouldn't have done before.
Of course, it's enormously seductive and it's very engaging. That's because we're social animals. That's how we are. It's absolutely how we are.
With this technology, you can meet so many new people, but are they all really your friends?
I just recently made a new MySpace about a week ago, and already I've got 74 friends or something like that. That's just in the last week. So that's how you know that people want to get to know each other more and just know lots of stuff about you.
People would add me, and I had like 1,000 friends, and I don't know 1,000 people. I really don't have 1,000 close friends.
So when you look at how people use a site like Facebook, a lot of it's to do with presentation of self. And so if you want to present yourself as a particularly popular person, then having 500 friends in Facebook terms is a very desirable thing. But when you look at who they actually interact with on a weekly or daily basis, it tends to be a much smaller network of people.
But how many of these so-called friends can you trust?
I'm very fussy about people that add me because recently there's been loads of people I don't even know, and I think there was like 2-3 paedophiles on it. I don't even know them and they just add me. I ask them, where'd you get them from? They say some random sites that I wouldn't even go on myself.
I don't like talking to just anybody. When I go out, it's different because you're out and you're face-to-face meeting people. Whereas on the internet, I do get really suspicious about people.
It's like simple stuff as well, like that. Like when you're on the road, don't talk to strangers. You wouldn't talk to a stranger on the internet.
Most young people I've talked to are very, very aware of these issues and are very careful about not giving out phone numbers, not giving out identifying information. But of course there are always a few children who, for whatever reason, do engage in these unsafe practices.
There are kids who are 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, no, literally from the age of like 7, using these profiles, pretending that they're 14, 15, and they're putting up pictures, they're dressing themselves up, they're saying all these things. And even though they say you have to be 14 or over to use the to log in and join the network, just say you're 14 and you get the profile.
Young people have always behaved inappropriately, and I think Web 2 sites like Facebook and MySpace allow them to do the things that previous generations would have done as well. The only difference being that they have a much, much wider potential audience.
Just as your audience can become wider, so can the consequences of your actions. some young people are finding that cyberbullying can be a more intense kind of bullying.
With bullying on the internet, it's kind of different because someone might be bullying you on MSN or whatever, but they might have a different ID, so they can say they're this person, but it might not be this person that they're saying.
In the last couple of years, I think the whole e-safety agenda has come so much more to the forefront that schools are now aware that they really need to watch out for particularly cyberbullying and internet grooming.
I think bullying's on the rise on the internet because, like, you could say one day someone would have a fight in class, someone records it, the other person's getting beaten up, then straight away, like next day or whatever, it will be whacked up on the internet, maybe YouTube, maybe on MySpace. Then the other people will start watching the videos. It's just the way it goes, because people want to be, like, they just want to record stuff and make some people feel bad.
And I think it's important again to note that the levels and the prevalence of cyberbullying, although obviously it's a high-profile issue which has caught the attraction of the media and parents and teachers, doesn't tend to be at any kind of higher levels than bullying offline. And again, often the research findings suggest that if you want to tackle cyberbullying, you need to tackle offline bullying.
One family has been subject to both kinds of bullying. Things got so bad that they've asked for their identities to be concealed.
It all came to light when she was at home and she was on the internet and the Bebo website came up and the front page was a photo of her. In the background was a gun, a picture, a word bang bang and the words Paki. And there was 22 comments from 22 different pupils, all from her school, some of it very violent, most of it very racist, all threatening her not to come back to school.
She changed completely after that, from like an outgoing girl to someone that was sitting in a bedroom all the time, and then she started saying to me, "Mum, can I change my name? I don't like my name.
I wish I was white.
I wish I was white. Don't tell people that my dad's Indian."
The website was taken down, but the bullying got worse.
I was walking up the road and a girl pulled my hair from behind and basically dragged me down to the floor.
A month or so after it happened, we had youths around trying to kick the front door through. I was absolutely petrified.
The good thing I think about it though is that access to that conversation that all those children were having and picking on our daughter, at least the adults got to see that conversation.
With most of this cyberbullying happening outside of the school gates, how should the school deal with it? Is it their responsibility?
Well, the school actually said the website was nothing to do with them. But I said to them, well, they're threatened that if she does come back into school, that she's going to be killed, she's going to be beat up. So it is your problem because my daughter can't come back to school. But that was it. And
no one got excluded.
No one got excluded. No, they didn't ask us to come in for a meeting. They just didn't seem interested at all.
Probably because I couldn't be bothered to deal with it.
I feel like the education have failed my daughter. I just think a lot more could have been done to help her.
The government has recently introduced new guidelines on cyberbullying. Securus, who provide e-safety software for schools, are helping to develop them.
Well, we have libraries of keywords and phrases. Bullying, racism are two of our libraries, pornography, grooming type phrases. We're providing the tool for teachers and for the e-safety. There really ought to be an e-safety nominated member of staff.
So it's not that anything different's taking place on these sites, it's just that it's allowing the things that happen in everyday real world to be amplified online.
In East London, Michael and his friend Aya are concerned about another issue that has been amplified with the rise of social networking sites. They have seen how uploading confrontational MCing tracks onto websites like MySpace can be used to fuel tension between rival groups.
Up to your place, yeah, still repping the place. N1MG, place where the goons be. North bit of Hackney, I've already started rapping, see. Yeah, I'm keeping.
Using, MCing and that. Maybe I live in Shoreditch and he lives in Camden. If I know him and we don't mellow together, I can rap on whatever I don't like about him, and he obviously will get it somehow. You want to see my one? Mm-hmm. Look at that, bro. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
You can use MySpace to publicize that. It's not all the fight on the used to fight. They still fight.
It's increasing that because more people see it, more people talk about it.
Hype it up.
There's also a notion that the anonymity, or at least the lack of face-to-face contact which the internet affords, does make people act in a slightly more reckless or brave way. So people are much more flirty online, for example. They can also be much more argumentative in ways that they wouldn't be if the person was face-to-face with them.
Each borough has different rival in it, cussing other people, and then it's like if he doesn't respond back to me, then it looks like he's weak or something.
People just have to learn to control that, get used to that, because MySpace is open to everyone, so anything can happen.
All of these things existed before the medium, and they all need to be negotiated. So either we run in some kind of panic away from these areas and we cede control of them to people who would use them for all kinds of nefarious purposes or dangerous purposes or ill-advised purposes, or we say no, because the things that we could do with them are so valuable that we need to work out a way to be safe in those places and to tell when somebody's trying to manipulate you or inform you falsely about something.
So where does this technology sit in the classroom?
All over Britain, some children are being banned from using social networking sites as though somehow, well, what was it going to ruin? Their socialisation skills, their ability to work and collaborate, their collegiality. Surely these are all things that are hugely desirable. What's happening, of course, in the smart schools is that they're seeing how powerful these tools are and they're reaching out and embracing them.
Young people of all ages, from Key Stage 1, 2 upwards into secondary school, are using these tools of social software, that it's important that teachers are able to engage with that kind of lived culture of young people and to have some idea about the potential of the medium.
The children really need clear boundaries as to what is and is not acceptable, and quite often they're the ones that are pushing the boundaries, and unfortunately staff and parents are sort of one step behind.
It is about giving the children and learners the skills to know when that's happening and to deal with it and to know how to deal with it and to know who to turn to for advice.
Ophelia Vanderpoel and Ennius McNulty started a collaboration between Oakington Manor and St Mary Magdalene Primary Schools in Brent, London 10 years ago. Over the last few years, with technology becoming more advanced and more readily available, they have adapted their work to incorporate this.
When we started our work initially, we were doing things like video conferencing, where we were talking to each other so that the children could see each other in real time, even though we weren't in the same school. And we saw that as a way of initially introducing the children to the way the new technologies work. We have subsequently moved on to things like blogging, which we think is absolutely fantastic. We're also using the new technologies to actually engage them, to actually give them a new voice.
Do you think animals should have rights? I think animals should have rights because killing animals is wrong. How would you feel if you were an animal and your friends and family would have been killed?
We also feel it's a good time in primary school to teach children the appropriate use of the new technologies from Web 2, such as blogging, podcasting, social networking sites.
Animals are packed as closely together as possible. Most never see sunlight, touch ground, or get fresh air. Many can't even turn around.
It's another tool for educating children, and it's another tool which children again will have the voice. They'll have the forum through which to express their opinions and ideas and so on, so that they're no longer just sitting back and being consumers, but also being creators of their own content.
They don't just want to watch a video, they've got an opinion on it they want to share. They don't just look at the friends that you've got in your social space, they want to have a view on that, and they want that view to be impish and to be cheeky sometimes. They want to participate, they want to make and create.
I think one of the great things about Web 2 applications like blogs and wikis are they do allow people to collaborate, and they do lead to very interesting forms of informal learning. So people learning just by doing things, learning that's caught, not taught.
So once you've posted your comments, we will then have a look and we will read it and just...
Pupils and staff at these two schools are certainly motivated by this kind of learning.
If we're writing in our text, it doesn't really go all around the World Wide Web.
Yeah, because you'd be writing for 2 hours thinking about animal rights and be passing it to your friend saying, here, read that, tell your friend, tell your friend, tell your friend. Instead, you can just go on the internet and just type it down and then everyone will see it.
You can't really pass your textbook to strangers.
Well, I've learned a lot more than what I would have learned just having a normal school day. So it's really good. Not just copying down from a book, or it's just we're actually doing the lesson.
I do think education is changing in the way we actually teaching children, but I also think that the underlying skills are the same. We're teaching about writing in the same way, whether we're using a computer keyboard as we would if we were using a blackboard.
You're seeing a fabulous excitement. Not little tiny improvements, but socking great, dirty, big improvements in children's learning. Technology's been the great enabler in all this. You know, without technology, we were trapped in a place. We were trapped in a stale model of productivity where the best we could do was 10% better, and then 5% better, and then 2.5% better, and then barely better at all. You know, we just crept forward.
The internet is a huge, brilliant resource, but it has to be filtered. They also have to be very well trained to make sure that they use this stuff safely. And that's one of the real issues that we have to deal with in schools, especially when they're getting so computer literate around about the ages of 8, 9, 10, 11. And they're all starting to use these sites.
But I think it's a matter of getting to grips with the technology, training the teachers how to use the new technology properly.
You'll see it on your web page. It's on your page. It says, go to the bottom of the page.
One member of staff at St Thomas More School in London, who has recently been trained in social software, is RE teacher Susan Kambalu.
Yeah, so you could say the priest was in the picture. Yeah? Good.
They wanted to have teachers that aren't ICT teachers and to train us up in the use of new technologies, and then for us to try them out in the classroom and to share them with other teachers.
So www. Oh, it's my turn. Okay.
Yep, it's your turn. .edublogs, edu.
In the course that we ran, for example, people were up and running with it by the end of the first morning.
And I think they're exciting opportunities for teachers and pupils to have a relationship that's based more around dialogue than around the teacher being didactic and giving all of the knowledge to the pupils.
What sort of information would you write about yourself?
Like my name and the school I go to.
But it is perhaps a slight shift in the power balance between the teachers and the pupils that can involve longer learning conversations as opposed to simply a one-way flow of information.
Like, say I went to school one day and I've written all of the lessons I had, and what good and bad stuff I did, and my family from my other country could see it.
One of the main reasons I wanted to do the blogging was to help with peer and self-assessment. We could put a piece of work up on the blog and then students could comment, 2 things good, one way you could improve. And I've started that with my year 8s last year, and that was quite effective with getting them to think about their own work as well, how they could improve it.
It does presuppose a different relationship between teachers and learners, and that's difficult for teachers to move into at the moment because of the sorts of culture that we live in where it's very assessment and results driven. So the whole system really needs to be altered or relaxed slightly to allow for some of these innovative practices to occur. If you look at where it's really happening, it's countries that border us, especially Scotland, where there seems to be a great deal of excitement in Web 2.0, and they don't publish league tables. So there is a connection between the two things, where the situation is slightly more relaxed and teachers feel that they have space to be more innovative, then I think it's likely to succeed better.
The big agencies at the centre of all this, the government in Whitehall, QCA, I mean, they're all full of good people, but they've got to let go of the detail. their task is to build a vision, and they're all building the same crucial vision. The vision is, this is how good our kids might be. That's their job, is to be ambitious for us. Everybody else will do the job of, how do we do that? What works? What's effective? Should we play sound? Can we use music? How might we organise a school day? All we want them to do is stand on the horizon and say, walk this way, it could be this good.
I think they've perhaps begun to realise that the curriculum does have to change, and not least in the sense that there are employers and other concerns outside of schooling who are probably looking at the sorts of things that students are expected to do now and wondering how relevant some of that is in terms of what they're going to be asked to do in the world of work. You know, absorb information quickly, create content themselves, make decisions very, very rapidly.
Employment has changed radically. It's no longer the job for life. We're looking at sort of 29 jobs in someone's working life. So young people's ability to adapt to change, to use new technology, to use new methods of networking is really going to help them in finding their next opportunity.
You know what tomorrow's school's going to look like. Your children are going to be running to school in the morning because they can't wait to finish the project they're engaged in, and you won't be able to get them to leave at night because they don't want to stop. Tomorrow's school is a place with quite a lot more joy in it.